Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine reconnecting with old high school classmates,
Yeah.
celebrating milestones, pooling funds for good causes. Sounds pretty harmless, right? Even heartwarming.
It usually is. But what happens when that pooled money becomes, well, a source of deep division? And legal questions, allegations of wrongdoing.
Yeah, exactly. Today, we're diving deep into a cautionary tale. It started, interestingly enough, in a WhatsApp group of high school alumni from Lagos, Nigeria. And it quickly spiraled into this complex legal mess with implications across continents, really.
We'll be looking at the specific story of the Rhodes High Class 9 group. Their financial practices led to, well, a major uproar.
Our mission here is to pull out the key lessons about something called fiduciary duty and transparency.
Yeah, helping you understand the surprising legal responsibilities that can pop up even in really informal group settings.
And what it means for anyone, really, who handles shared funds.
It's more common than you might think.
So let's start at the beginning of this fateful friendship and funds saga. The Rhodes High Class 9. These are classmates from Rhodes All-Girls High School in Lagos.
Right.
They graduated about 20 years ago, reconnected maybe 10 years back, mostly through WhatsApp, like so many people do.
Pretty typical reunion story so far. And they were active.
Very active. Lots of fundraising class anniversaries, welfare initiatives for members who needed a hand, that sort of thing.
Okay, so funds were definitely flowing. How were they managed initially?
Well, that's key. Initially, it was pretty informal. But about 8 years ago, they decided, okay, let's get a group bank account.
Makes sense, but they weren't incorporated yet.
No, not legally. So the account was opened in the names of two co-admins, Tracy and Obi. They jointly ran it for the group.
Okay. So that became the quote-unquote official account for donations and spending.
Exactly. A lot of trust placed right there in Tracy and Obi.
Absolutely. And then fast forward 2 years ago, a proper corporate account was finally opened.
And their first account, the one held by Tracy and Obi,
That was discontinued. And it's important to note that new corporate account later checked out fine, clean, no fraudulent transactions.
okay, so the new account was fine. But here's where things start to unravel. A national fundraiser.
Levied by the National Old Students Association.
Yes. The admins, including one named Madeline, they mobilized to raise the money. But they hit some resistance.
Why resistance?
Well, apparently there was already some, let's say, dissatisfaction bubbling under the surface about how funds had been handled in the past.
Okay. Pre-existing concerns.
Right, so the admins promised, okay, this specific drive, total transparency, and they did manage to raise a good sum.
Babe, there's always a but in these stories, isn't there?
There is. The core conflict blew up when the money was actually sent to the National Association. The amount paid over was less than what they'd raised.
Less. Where did the rest go?
It was apparently unilaterally used to pay for gala tickets for some members to attend the National Fundraising Gala.
Hold on. Was that agreed upon? Paying for tickets with the raised funds?
Well, that's the crucial detail. The gala had been discussed, and the agreement was attendees pay for themselves.
Okay.
Now, some donors had apparently given extra specifically to cover tickets for certain people, but this seems to have been a broader diversion of the general funds.
I see. So not what was agreed for the main pot of money. That would definitely cause an uproar.
A major uproar, exactly. All that existing discontent just boiled over. Allegations started flying, misappropriation, arbitrary purchases, unauthorized use of funds.
Aimed at the admins, Madeline, Tracy, and Obi.
Specifically them, yeah. Which led, naturally, to calls for an audit.
Makes sense. They wanted to see the books.
So the corporate account statement, the new one, was provided. Found clear, as we said.
Okay.
But for that crucial initial account, the one Tracy and Obi ran, Madeline, the main admin, only provided a breakdown of transactions.
Just a breakdown, like a typed list.
Essentially, yeah. She claimed no official statement could be provided because the account was closed.
Ooh, that's a red flag. A big one. What's the difference, really? Breakdown versus official statement. Does it matter?
It matters hugely, doesn't it?
Tremendously. A breakdown is just someone's version of events, often the person handling the money. An official bank statement,
Yeah.
that's the bank's independent, verifiable record. It's the proof.
The undeniable proof.
Exactly. Without it, how do you rebuild trust? So this refusal or inability to provide the statement, it just poured fuel on the fire.
Right, so the group fractured.
Completely split. One side saying, oh, let's just leave the past alone. The other demanding full disclosure. You know, clear names, restore trust. Otherwise, how can we ever fundraise again?
So the key figures caught in this are Madeline, the main admin now, and Tracy and Obi, who ran that first, now very controversial account.
That's the core group under scrutiny.
And this whole thing, this clash over gala tickets, it just rips the lid off a much bigger issue about informal group money, doesn't it?
It really does, because what happened next wasn't just about WhatsApp drama. It dragged them into this legal territory most people have no idea applies to them.
And it all hinges on two words: fiduciary duty.
Fiduciary duty. Sounds formal, but it's simple in concept. When one person or party, like an admin or account holder, holds funds for others.
Like Tracy and Obi did.
Precisely. They are legally obligated to act in the group's best interest with, and this is key, extreme honesty and transparency.
That's fiduciary duty. Wow.
What's fascinating here is how this, friendly WhatsApp group set up for good deeds accidentally triggers legal duties as serious as those facing, say, a CEO managing company funds.
It's a wake-up call, really. Good intentions don't just wipe away legal responsibilities. And this isn't just a Lagos thing, is it?
Not at all. You might think, oh, maybe this is specific to Nigeria, like context? But the legal principles, they're remarkably universal.
So what does this mean for Tracy and Obi, legally speaking, holding that first account?
Yeah, across different countries, different legal systems, UK, Canada, US, Nigeria, the law basically says the same thing.
Which is?
If you're holding money for a group, even informally, you are bound by a serious legal duty. Tracy and Obi, by holding that group's money, the law essentially sees them as trustees.
Trustees?
Yeah.
But they weren't formally appointed, were they? It was just whose names were on the account.
Exactly. And this is where the concept of a de facto trustee comes in. It means trustee in fact, even if not by formal appointment.
So like if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck.
It's treated like a duck, legally speaking. If you're holding and managing someone else's money, the law effectively sees you as a trustee. Doesn't matter if it's a formal trust fund or a WhatsApp kitty.
Okay. And as de facto trustees, what must they do?
They have to fully account for the money, period. Failing to produce those old bank statements, that could absolutely be seen as a breach of that serious duty.
Wow. So the lesson is, trust me isn't a legal defense. The law demands, show me.
That's a great way to put it. What felt like a favor becomes a legal obligation, potentially with real consequences.
But are we just talking civil disputes here, like suing to get money back?
What?
Or can this actually become criminal?
That's a critical question. And yes, it absolutely can cross that line. If funds are genuinely, dishonestly misappropriated or diverted.
Like maybe for gala tickets that weren't approved.
Potentially, yes, depending on the specifics and intent. In Nigeria, for example, that kind of diversion could be criminal breach of trust under their laws.
So if donors really push it.
It can escalate from a civil argument about money owed to actual criminal liability.
Is that similar elsewhere? UK, US, Canada?
Broadly, yes. The UK's Fraud Act has provisions for abuse of position. If admins dishonestly use their position to divert funds, that could apply.
Okay.
The US and Canada have similar fraud laws. In the US, using interstate communications like WhatsApp in furtherance of a fraudulent scheme could even bring in federal charges, like wire fraud.
Wow, federal charges from a WhatsApp group dispute.
It's possible if the elements are met. And Canada's criminal code also covers fraud through misappropriating group money. So, yeah, the informal nature doesn't shield anyone from potentially serious criminal consequences if there was dishonesty.
Okay, so serious stuff. Now, what about banking secrecy? Tracy and Obi might argue, hey, that was our account. Technically, it's private. Does that hold water?
That's a common thought, but usually no, it doesn't hold up in this situation.
Why not?
Because the money wasn't personally theirs, even if their names were on the account. It was held in trust for the group. Legally, that changes things.
So the trust aspect overrides the privacy aspect.
Pretty much, especially in places like the UK, Canada, US courts there can order disclosure through something called equitable accounting.
Equitable accounting? What's that in plain English?
It basically means the court can force the account holders to open their books and show exactly what happened with the money. The beneficiaries, the group members in this case, have a right to see those records.
So the privacy argument just collapses.
It really doesn't stand up when you're managing money for other people. Think about it. The duty to be transparent about their money trumps your personal account privacy for that specific money.
Okay, that makes sense. So given this legal minefield, What are the paths forward for everyone caught up in this? Let's start with Madeline, the main admin. What's her situation?
Madeline's liability kind of hinges on whether she actually authorized or knew about that gala ticket diversion. If she did, she could be on the hook for breach of duty too.
What's her best move?
Honestly, push hard for voluntary disclosure of those old statements. Get everything out in the open. It's the only way to start rebuilding trust, and it might mitigate her own position if she's seen as trying to fix things.
Right. And what about Tracy and Obi, the holders of that original account? They seem to be in the toughest spot.
They really are. They carry the heaviest legal burden here. As we said, de facto trustees in pretty much any relevant jurisdiction.
And refusing to show the statements.
Exposes them directly. Claims for breach of trust, potentially those criminal issues we talked about, especially under Nigerian law, plus massive reputational damage within their community.
So their safest option is?
Just produce the official bank statements. There's really no good legal reason not to if the goal is to clear the air and prove nothing improper happened. Hiding them looks, well, it looks bad.
Very bad. Okay, finally, what about the group members, the donors, the beneficiaries? What can they do?
They absolutely have the right to demand that accounting. Legally.
How?
In Nigeria, they could petition under trust law. In the UK, Canada, or US, they could bring a civil action for breach of fiduciary duty.
That's expensive, maybe.
It can be. Mediation might be a better first step, especially for smaller amounts. Try to resolve it without court and burning bridges completely. But the bottom line is, legally, they have a clear right to transparency. The law is on their side regarding disclosure.
So this whole story,
Yeah.
it's not just about some old classmates squabbling over WhatsApp funds, is it?
Not at all. When you connect it to the bigger picture, it's this really potent cautionary tale about governance, even at the most informal level.
Wherever money is pooled, Lagos, London, Toronto, New York, your local book club, The Law, fundamentally demands transparency.
And trustees, even accidental ones like maybe Tracy and Obi, owe that full disclosure.
So for Madeline, Tracy, and Obi, the path seems clear legally and ethically. Release the statements. Clear your names if you can. Rebuild that trust.
Because if they don't, the law, and certainly their classmates, probably won't just let this fade away.
Which really raises that important question for you, the listener. What does all this mean for your own informal group finances?
Yeah, your club treasury, maybe even family arrangements where money gets shared around. When does just helping out, being the money person, turn into a serious legal responsibility?
And how can you make sure there's transparency for everyone involved before things go sideways? Makes you think twice about volunteering to handle the office coffee front, doesn't it?